Hi everyone, it's Nicole and I'm here with day 6. Day 6 is still using the template D or design D, and that has 4 vertical 4x6 and 4 horizontal 3x4. Now because day 5 was the left side of the 2-page spread and I decided to go with green, when I start making this side, the right side of the 2-page spread, it's so much easier because I basically go with the same tones. I just decide whether if I want to go with a little bit more darker green or lighter green, and it comes together really quickly. Another thing I started doing that kind of sped up my time into doing these pages is when I do the left side of the layout or the 2-page spread and I decide on a color theme, when I look for pattern papers, I make sure that I look for enough pattern papers for the 2 sides. So enough for, like in this case, it was day 5 and day 6. So by doing that, I cut down the time of putting these pages together by almost half. When I started only making these pages ago, like 6 or 7 days ago. I'm actually just finished day 9 today. And when I first started, the first few days, it was taking me close to an hour to get a page done. It was anywhere between 45, 48 minutes to an hour. And today I did 2 spreads under 25 minutes each. And I attribute that solely to when I pick my pattern papers and the embellishments, because I'm carrying that color between the 2 pages and I spend time. At first I was doing it per page. And so when I would go to do the next day, I'd have to, find more pattern papers, find more embellishments. But a few days ago, I said, where I'm keeping it consistent on the left side and the right side, I just maybe, if on the left side I did light greens, on the right side, I'm going to do more darker greens. By doing that, I can right away make sure that I have enough pattern papers, enough different pattern papers, because even though they're the same tones and everything, I try to make sure that there's at least a few pattern papers that are different. And then I pull out enough embellishments in that tone to make the 2-page spreads. Now, I talked yesterday about usually in the previous years, what I would do is, start like in the middle of November and start making some basically page kits. So it's the same idea as my page kits for my regular scrapbooking, except I just choose the pattern papers and I cut it already down to 4x6 or 3x4, and then I just put in a whole bunch of embellishments. And by doing that, it cuts down on a lot of time. But this year, where I'm not doing that, by at least doing it 2 days at once, it is cutting down on some of the time it's taken me to do these pages. I am loving some of the die cuts that I chose to put in my big kits, like that big tree. That was a cut apart from a company that was called Berry Patch. And I don't believe they're any longer in business, but it was a Canadian company. They were out in Ontario. That was like 20 years ago. And they used to make these die cuts on sheets, and you would buy the sheet and you'd have to cut it out yourself. But I just love that tree. It's so nice and big, and it was easy to cut out because it's not like a small tree. And I know a lot of times I complain about embellishments being too big, but in a case like this for Project Lifestyle, I was able to put that tree on a 4x6 card, and it filled up the card, and I don't have to worry about putting any pictures on that page. That's going to be my date page. Also for this page, I grabbed a few rub-ons. I'm loving using these rub-ons. I'm using them on just about every layout until I run out of them. And that way, again, I'm using my stash. I'm using stuff that has been sitting in my stash for quite a few years. So it feels good to use up the stuff that has been sitting there for a long time. I did mention yesterday, I think for my next December daily, I'm going to have to buy some more, at least some more 6x6 pattern paper pads for sure, because I am now running really low on the 6x6 pattern paper pads, and I've had to go into my stash and use some regular pattern papers that are not Christmassy but are in the tones that I want, which is also fine. I mean, I'm still using up my stash and that's good, but it would be nice to have, you know, some Christmassy pattern papers. So I don't know if I'll buy some this year so I have it for next year, or I'll just wait till next year and buy it. I haven't quite made the decision yet. But either way, I know I'm going to need some more pattern papers for next year. Now, I've had a few comments of people saying, oh, if you're really brave to take on a 12x12 for your December daily. And I know that quite a few people, they'll do like a 6x8 mini album, sort of the same size that I do for my mini album for all the books that I've read in 2019. And I wanted to keep it consistent because the last few years the years that I did make my project life, I made it in a 12x12 size. So I want to keep it in that size so that when I put them on the shelf, I can put them all side by side and keep it consistent. But I don't find it that bad because I usually take a few cards and I make it so that it's sort of just embellishment, and I enjoy that. I think my favorite part of making a scrapbooking layout, or in this case, you know, December daily, is adding all the bits and pieces, all the die cuts. That is, I think, my favorite part of putting a page together, because up until that point, I mean, it's cute, the pattern papers and all this stuff, but once you start adding embellishment, I find that the theme or the page comes together nicely, and I just kind of fall in love with the page even more. So same thing as the left side of the layout, I had some leftover cardstock that was in the deeper green and I had some in the lighter green. I'm just cutting them to a few different sizes. I did 2x2 in this case and about 2 3/4 by 3. And once I am ready to add the pictures, what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit down with my project or with my December daily, flip over to the page that I'm printing the pictures for, and then I'm going to go, okay, for this page you need 1, 2, 3, 4 pictures that are 2x2. You need one that's 3x4. Basically the same size that I make my pictures for my mini album. That's the size that I'm going to make the picture or print the picture. And then if I need to, I can just, you know, trim it to fit so that it fits onto those mats. And this is the first year that I actually put mats on the layout, and I'm really actually quite enjoying it. I'm enjoying the mats on the page, because even right now, even though I don't have any pictures on it, I find that it finishes the layout. Talking about finishing the layout, I've had a few people ask me, are you going to do videos of, you know, with the pictures? And yes, absolutely. It's just because I fell a little behind and I have to work this weekend. So I was kind of putting the push on getting the base layouts done so that I would have a video going up every day. Now next week, I work Monday night. So then on Tuesday, I'll probably start adding the pictures, and that should come together really quickly. And I'll probably, for, you know, quite a few days, I'll put adding the pictures to 2 or 3 days at once in one video. And then also at the very end, so probably like January 1st or 2nd, at the very beginning of next year, because my goal is always to finish this project right on time. I don't want it to linger past the new year because I know myself and I know I won't get it done. So I'm going to film the entirety of the album. So I'll sit and I'll start at the very beginning. I'll show you the album again that I chose and the cover page and all the pages after. So that's it. That's going to complete day 6. And I want to thank you so much for watching. Bye.